sad and tragic passing yesterday.
It is. It's sad, but it would be hard to leave more of a legacy than Jason Collins did. He passed away yesterday at the age of 47. So a little background here for you guys. When I was a TV reporter at KCBS KCAL, and the Collins twins were at Harvard Westlake.
Yep.
They were the two most heavily recruited people in the country because they told all the schools, wherever we go, we're going together. So you didn't get one 7-footer,
Yep.
You got two. Mike Montgomery at Stanford is the one who eventually landed him. But I went and did this story, and I interviewed Jaron and Jason, and I interviewed their parents, Paul and Portia. And I was struck by just how nice all of them were.
Yeah.
They just completely down to earth. Their lives were about to change. They were about to become universally famous.
Yep.
And they were completely unaffected by it. So they go to Stanford. They lead Stanford to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And then they both turn pro and both go into the NBA. And I start working in the NBA, and the guy who sat next to me on the Laker plane for 10 years is a guy named Jared Stacy, who now runs global sports for Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I come to find out that when Jared was at Stanford, he lived across the hall from the Collins twins, and they all became best friends.
Yeah.
So, Mace, whenever we were in a city where Jason or Jaron was playing, because I was friends with Jared Stacy, he would always invite me to come along, and these guys would take us to dinner, and they were rarely on the same team. I don't know if they ever played in the same team. So, we would go see one of them in Utah and go see the other one in Atlanta. And I've never picked up a tab, and they would just tell me stories. And they were so ridiculously nice, and they talked about how fortunate they felt like they were. And then, unbeknownst to any of us, Jason announces that he's gay while he's an active player.
Yes.
Which took an incredible amount of guts.
2013, 2014?
Yeah, right. In 2014, he was featured on Time Magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in the world.
Yeah.
And when you talk to him, he never changed. In a lot of ways, it reminded me of you. You told me that when you came out, you said, I'm hoping that I can come out, be accepted, but that I'm not going to be known as the gay talk show host. I'm just going to be known as another talk show host who happens to be gay.
Yes.
And that's what he would say.
I agree. Yeah.
He would say, I don't want to be known as, I don't want my legacy to be that I was the first gay athlete to come out, but I want to blaze the trail for other gay athletes if they ever want to come out to say, see, it can be done. And the reaction to him was very similar to the reaction to you. You were expecting the worst, but you got the best.
Exactly.
So did he.
Yeah.
And so he was diagnosed with brain cancer last year, and he had a lot of money from playing in the NBA, so he flew all over the world. Another sad element to this is him and his boyfriend got married last year in Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. They've never been happier. Their lives were just starting out. Yeah. And now he's gone. And I feel so bad for Jaron and for Paul and for Portia, but if you think about a guy who lived to be 47 and left that imprint on everybody he met and touched, that's a win.
Yeah.
You're right. It's incredibly sad. He's gone way too early. But, man, did he make the most of his time when he was here.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So he came out, it was 2013, 2014. It was during that season he came out. And
coached by Jason Kidd, who wrote a nice thing about him yesterday.
Yes, he did. Now, I was not out at that point. And I thought it was a really interesting kind of test case.
Right.
Can I say that?
Trial balloon.
Trial balloon. And I thought, you know what? He seemed to come through this okay. And so 2 years later is when I decided to come out. And had he not...
2013 Sports Illustrated cover story. 2013 is when he did it.
Had he not, I might have been much more hesitant about coming out. But seeing the reception he got from the world made me think, okay, yeah, I think I can do this. Now, my experience with Jason Collins, as I told you before the show,
this is good.
He was the coach of our celebrity basketball team when we played down here at LA Live, and I had the famous Mace plant. So Jason was great. He was terrific. And I, of course, took the Corey Maggette fouled me so hard.
Didn't touch you.
Ridiculously hard foul.
Zero contact.
I went down. I braced myself as best as I could, but I did crack my face into the pavement. And I was like, I'm going to stay in the game. I'm not going anywhere. So I get up and I start running down the other end of the court. And then I look at Jason, and I start pulling on my jersey, like, get me out of here. Get me out of this. My head was spinning. So Jason's the one that pulled me out of the game and let me come back to start the second half.
And if you asked me to explain who Jason Collins was to somebody who never met him or didn't know him, what I would say about him is he was uniquely comfortable in his own skin.
100%.
He was willing to talk about anything. He was willing to put up with a little bit of taunts and then try and go walk over and explain to somebody why that maybe isn't the best use of your time.
Yes.
His brother, Jaron, who's been a long-time assistant in the NBA, he most recently was in New Orleans. They're revamping that staff, so I don't know if he's going to stay.
Right.
Jaron's wife, Elsa, was Chelsea Clinton's best friend at Stanford.
Oh, wow.
So from the time the Collins twins got on the Stanford campus, they were comfortable dealing with NBA players, world leaders, everybody.
Yeah.
And so Jason was, in a strange way, the perfect candidate to take up a cause. I always say that about Magic Johnson. When Magic Johnson was diagnosed as HIV positive, I said, wow, that's devastating, but boy, did they pick the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Because he's going to take the baton and run with this and bring awareness to HIV and that virus. Yep. And now we know that it isn't necessarily a death sentence.
No, it isn't
Magic
at
is
all. Yeah.
obviously still going strong. And he was the first person who kind of taught us that.
Mm-hmm.
And Magic has said on numerous occasions, people were under the impression that HIV was only transmitted by having gay sex. That's not true. I got it through a blood transfusion.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jason was that guy that was uniquely qualified and comfortable.
Yeah.
And you saw the reaction yesterday. President Obama coming out and saying a bunch of – when he came out, President Obama wrote him a note saying, I hope you realize you just helped thousands of people who you will never meet.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting take on it.
Now, I know there are other gay athletes in
every sport.
North American professional
every sport, no question.
I don't know that we're going to see another athlete come out
while they're playing. That was what made Jason unique.
Right.
A lot of guys have come out, like John Amici came out after he got done.
Yeah.
Our friend Billy Bean down in San Diego, who played for the Padres, came out after he was done playing. Jason did it while he was an active player, which was just unprecedented at the time. And I'm thinking a lot about the Collins family today because they've just got to be grieving unimaginably.
Yeah.
But I think when they get over the shock of this, that, he was only diagnosed 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And he was trying all these experimental treatments, but the cancer spread too fast. And by the way, another person who was with Chelsea Clinton and Elsa and Jason and Jaron and my friend Jared Stacey at Stanford was Ramona.
Yeah.
She was there at the exact same time. She knows all the people I'm talking about. And she wrote...
Except Chelsea.
She never crossed paths with Chelsea.
She wanted to know Chelsea really badly, but she told me
the
she
Collins
never did.
twins knew her really well.
Oh, yeah.
And so Ramona wrote basically the obituary story yesterday on ESPN.com. And if you get a chance, you should read it.
Yeah.
Because Momo knew Jason personally, has known him since they were 17, 18 years old.
Met him in person, did an interview before this all happened.
When he was
sick,
in
going
treatment.
on
these crazy experimental treatments.
Yep.
And by the way, you know who was at their wedding? And I don't know what the connection is. I'm assuming it was a connection to Jason's husband, but maybe not because Jason was so diverse, was Allison Janney.
Really?
Jared Stacey knew I was a big West Wing fan, so he took a picture with Allison Janney at the wedding and sent it to him.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
But hail fellow well met Jason Collins.
What a legacy.
He'll be missed. And a lot of people in Los Angeles, because Jason made friends so easily. Interesting little sidebar. One of the best tennis players at the Mountain Gate Country Club, where I play golf.
Yep.
They have a whole different side of the building where all they do is play tennis.
Got it.
And Jason was 7 feet tall with a big serve, so he could play anybody.
Wow.
And hold his own.
Oh, that's
And then
awesome.
when he got sick, he couldn't play as much anymore. But I'm going to miss him. I know a lot of friends and family are going to miss him even more than I will. And we're thinking about that whole Collins family today. And read Ramona's story if you get a chance. It's really good.
By the way, I always think of that Steve Jobs quote, make a dent in the universe. And he most certainly did.
Or what Frank Vogel used to tell the Lakers the year they went